This week we're talking about blocks and how to use them in AutoCAD. And a block is a pre-made symbol, if you will, that you can insert into your drawing or into any drawing. And they're very useful for things that you do repetitively, like doors. You remember doing the doors in here. Windows. In this case, we're doing plumbing fixtures, light fixtures. There's all kinds of blocks that are useful, and it's for things that are of standard sizes that you would use repetitively. And so you create it once, and then you keep it in a block library, and then you can just insert them into your drawing without having to recreate them all the time. And so let's go over how to create a block, and it's important that you create it on the zero layer. I've said before, we try to avoid drawing on the zero layer in our drawings. We want to reserve that for either temporary things that we're going to draw and then delete it, or for creating blocks. Because if you create a block on the zero layer, when you insert it into your drawing, it takes on the properties of whatever layer you're currently on when you insert it. So it takes on the color and the line type for that particular layer. If you create the block on the layer, let's say we created this block on the plumbing fixture layer, and when we inserted it into our drawing, it would maintain the properties of the layer that it was created on, which may be applicable, it may not be applicable, and you can't change it. That's the problem. So in this exercise, we're going to actually create the blocks in our drawing file, and then they are saved within that drawing file in a block library, even though they're not visible as part of the library. Now there is in the Design Center, which you've used the Design Center to copy things from one drawing to another, there are a series of blocks available in there that come installed with AutoCAD. And then if you were to, like in my 1125 architectural class, we use a block library of windows that came from the window manufacturer, and it's got the elevation drawings and the plan view drawings of all sizes of the window within that particular window type and style. And so you just copy from there, insert it into your drawing, or insert block, either one, and it works. So to start out with, we draw this tub in the sizes that it's given you in the book. And now to create the block, what we do is we go to the Insert tab, and then right here we go Create Block. And the options are either Create Block or Write Block. So we want to choose Create Block. We get this pop-up window, and now we want to name it, and I'm just going to call it Tub. And base point, you want to pick a base point that you're going to use to insert it with. And usually it's something obvious in the drawing, a corner, a center, something obvious. So I'm going to uncheck Specify on Screen. Okay, and I'm going to pick a point, and I'm going to pick that bottom corner right there. That makes it the base point for the block. And it doesn't matter where your block is at on the screen when you're doing this. Now the objects. So I'm going to select objects, and I'm going to select all of that. Press Enter. And now we have three options here. If we choose Retain, then it will create the block, but it will leave all of this as individual lines and arcs. Okay. If we choose Convert to Block, it will convert all of this to a block, but leave it on the screen. If I choose Delete, it will convert all this to a block and then delete it from the screen. Okay. And usually you would want to do scale uniformly if you need to scale a block up or down once it's placed in your drawing. And that means it will scale it in the X direction the same as in the Y direction. Okay. For some things, yes, you would want to do that. For some things, no. Usually we don't scale blocks. Usually we put a block in of the size that we want. So it doesn't matter if you check that or not. Allow exploding, I would say yes, always to that, because you may insert it in and you may need to edit it a little bit for whatever reason. So just to, I'm gonna turn this to delete, and then we'll say okay. All right, so now that tub is gone. If I come over here to the insert button, there's my bathtub that I just created. Okay, now this drawing comes with the switch and the outlet already created, or it should have been created. I guess I need to go back and look at the original prototype and see. I'll check on that. Okay, and so to insert it now, I would go tub, I would click on that. Oh, excuse me. And so now it's still at, and I place it, it's still on the 0 layer. So if I select it, I can move it to my plumbing layer, and it takes on the properties of the plumbing layer. If I moved it to, let's see, close rod, that had a dash line. Yeah, so that had the dash line there. So now you can change the layer that it's on, after you've created it, as long as it was created using the 0 layer. If you did not put it on the 0 layer, once you bring it in here, it will not. So let me demonstrate that to you. So I'm going to select that one and put it, what's a good one? I'm going to put it on the wiring layer because that's kind of weird. That's a new one for you. Okay, and so now I'm going to create a block out of that. I'm going to call it test. Specify my point, and we'll just say, for example, I forget to specify a point, or I don't pick something in there, and so I'm just going to leave that alone. Select my objects. I'm going to select all of those, and I'm going to retain it because I'm still working through with this file. And so I'll go OK. All right, and so now then, if I go to insert that block, where's it at? I don't see it anywhere. So let me place it. Now it's in there because it tells me right down here in the command line that it inserted it. And this happens if you forget to place a base point. There's my block way over here, and there's the base point for it. Okay, now then, I created this thing on the wiring layer, but I inserted it on the 0 layer. So if I select it, it's on the 0 layer, but it does not have the properties that go along with it. It retains the properties from where it was created. So let's see there, nothing changed, nothing changed. All right, so let's say you did that. How do you fix it? Well, we open up what's known as the block editor. So over on the insert tab, right here, block editor, or you can select it and right click and go block editor. And it opens up a new window kind of inside your drawing. And in here we can select that and change the layer for it. So we can change it back to the 0 layer. And we need to change the base point. And over here in the block editor palette on the parameter side, we just pick base point and then come and pick our new base point. And you see the symbol that it chose there. And now we'll go close block editor. Save changes, yes. Okay, and there's the one that we edited because it moved it way down here to where the base point was where I inserted it. And it put it on the layer that was currently there. And so I'm going to change that to the plumbing layer. And so there it is. All right, so I'm going to delete that one. That's a lot. I mean, once you've placed a block, you can rotate it. Doesn't matter which base point you choose to rotate it about. You know, you can rotate the thing, you can mirror it, you can copy it. And once you've got it in place, you can explode it. Okay, should you need to edit it, okay? All right, so now then let's, how do we create some of these things? So let's take this one. The tub's pretty easy. This is the lavatory. And so draw you a rectangle, and then I'm gonna draw a couple, because the sink part is centered. I find it easiest just to go ahead and draw lines that hit the center of it, and then go into my ellipse command. So that's my axis endpoint. I'm going to go center and choose the center point of it, and this will drag out the radius of this thing, which would be half of 1'8", which would be 10 inches, right? Well, 20, yeah. And then the other direction would be 6-7 inches. Okay, and so now that's got my lavatory, and I can delete those two lines and then create the block. Okay, and for the base point, you know, it really depends on what the object is. If it's something that's going to be placed against a wall, use the side of it that's going to be placed into a wall. With like a light fixture and the ceiling fan, choose the center of the thing to insert it. So with this one, we'll pick a point. I'm going to pick a corner, select my objects there, and I'm going to delete it when it's done. Call it lavatory and say OK. All right, and that created that. Now your ceiling fan, now the book doesn't give you specific directions on how to draw these things, but it does give you a good direction on the ceiling fan there. Draw your two circles, excuse me, draw your two circles, and then a line from the quadrant, and I want to draw that up. You don't want to go quadrant there because we're going to draw it at an 80-degree line, but that's well, see, it's going to be more than 1'4" because we're not doing a true radius. So I'm just going to tell it 2 feet for my length, press tab, and tell it 80 degrees. And then I'm going to repeat that command, starting over here. I'm going to go a length of 2 feet, tab, be 100 degrees. Okay, now I can trim. And I can trim out the rest of that circle. That looks kind of weird. Let me check the angle dimension on that thing. 28 degrees. I must have hit a wrong number. So let me go back. Let's go line again. 2 feet, tab, 100. There, that looks better. Yeah. And now I can trim. And now I can do an array from those things. Center point will be here. I want 5 items. Okay, and we're yes to rotate. And then that creates our ceiling fan. And then we create a block. Okay, for my base point, I want the center of that. My objects will be everything. I'm going to delete that. This one, no, I like I said before, scale is kind of up to you how you want to do that. Okay, I'm going to leave. I'm not going to check it, and I'm going to say okay. All right, and so now I've got several things loaded into. I got a few blocks built, and so now I can go insert, and I can choose which ones I want. So I'm going to choose the bathtub first. And you can see I can snap it and place it and then move it. Move it to there. And then change the layer that it was on. Put that on my plumbing layer. Okay. Same way with those things, and insert, bring my fan in, doesn't matter, you know, if you do the layer first or later, you do want to change them. Now the switches, now you keep having to go back and forth here, so we can go back and forth. If we type block, no, I want the block palette. Let's see, where do we find that? View, tool palette, block palettes. There we go. Okay, and so now I've opened up another palette that has the blocks recent that have been used or current drawing. Okay, and so here, let's pull in a switch. So just for giggles, let me come over here and change to my electrical, and then pull a switch, and I just drag it and drop it. And then I can select it and move it. I can rotate these. You may have to turn off your object snap temporarily. Oh. How did I hit calculator? Okay, and so that's one way to keep all your blocks open. You don't have to keep going back and forth over here. And then to draw your wiring, switch to our wiring layer, and then we're going to use a spline, SPL, and I want to choose the edge of the switch, and basically you're kind of making a curved line. Okay, to get your wiring in. Okay, that covers a lot of making blocks. Now, let me show you the other thing here in Autodesk Design Center. If you don't have it open, ADC, I've got it right here. If you go to Folders, and if it doesn't go to here, you can hit that home button right there, and it will take you to the home button for the Design Center. And so here you would click on English US, Design Center. And in here are files of various blocks that are already created. So if we go here, House Designer, and go Blocks, here's all the blocks that are already created. And you just grab it, drag and drop it. Okay, and then once you got it in your drawing, you put it on the layer you want, you can mirror it, you can copy it, you can revolve it, things like that. We can go up a couple of levels, or we go to, let's see, Home Space Planner. And here you've got various furniture items. Okay, and so there's several different ones that you can choose from within the Design Center. Okay, kitchens. You've got cabinets, faucets, sinks, things like that. Landscaping. You've got, cars, tables, trees, plants, things like that. Okay. The other one, beside those Design Center files, those are all kind of standard. In dynamic blocks, a dynamic block means that you can change the sizes of it. Okay. And so let's go to the Architectural Imperial blocks. And here we have a few, the vehicles. I'll do a couple of them. I'll do the door. So I just drag and drop it in there. And when I click on it, I've got various sizes here. And so I can go to Properties. I can scroll, where'd it go? Right here. Custom door size. Those are the pre-made sizes for the doors. So I could change it. I could change the door size. I can change the wall thickness. I can change which way it swings, left or right, inside, outside, things like that. Okay. The car, the vehicles, pull it in. Oh, not size, properties. So I can come down here to custom and see my options, and I have sports car, side, top, front, rear, a sedan, okay, truck. So in if you use a dynamic block, you got to change the sizes of it. Okay. All right. So that pretty well covers blocks, and how to do blocks. Now this week you're given an option of either doing the architectural blocks. Oh wait, the electrical block is no longer there. Oh wait, maybe let me look at Blackboard. Okay, page 445. It's in a different chapter. In the introduction to electronic drafting in chapter 12. So the choice is yours. You can draw the architectural with blocks, or you can do, I guess it's the FM tuner. Yeah, the FM tuner on page 445 in this current edition, 2025. And create the blocks that you need to draw this FM tuner schematic. Okay, choice is yours. You can do either one. When you do them, whichever one you do want to update your title block. Fill it in with the current information and whatever. And then you will submit that file into Blackboard in the Dropbox. There's only one Dropbox for this week, so you would submit either file into that, okay? All right, and that's it. If you got questions, send us an email, come see us, okay?